What is going on, guys? Just a quick DTG breakdown here of the setups last week, which you could have potentially taken with my system. First of all, I just want to say it is cold. That's why I'm wearing my hoodie, right? It's like 9 degrees right now. For some of you, that might not be cold, but in Australia, that's cold. Um, Secondly, I just want to say last week obviously was a very interesting week, a very action filled week with ongoing US China tariff talks earlier in the week. Then, towards the end of the week, well, in the middle of the week, we had CPI, we had PPI. And then, towards the end of the week, we had the Iran Israel developments. So, gold obviously reacting to all this news. It was interesting. So, the system, right? How you could have caught some of these setups here using my system. And what the DTG system is right here is very simple, right? It's a very simple but effective system which takes you through every step in the market you need to go through in order to find a solid setup, but not only then find the solid setup, but manage that setup. And then the most important part, journal it, gathering the data so you can make better decisions and improve the strategy, the system, sorry, over time. So what we first like to do, which obviously you guys are, it's nothing new, but there's a very structured way of doing it and a very solid way using real data, price action to build this system. We find direction, okay, and there's many different ways we can do this, but mostly it comes from the higher time frame and it comes from the DTG indicator right here, which gives you instant market sentiment anyway, weekly bullish, daily bullish, right? So we find direction. Let me move this over here. Can I anchor that there so that if I move, yeah, cool. Um, yeah, cool. So we find direction using different time frames, using market structure from those time frames, using the DTG indicator for sentiment. And once we have understood the direction as best as possible for that potential session or trading window, we like to call them trading windows. Um, we then start to build confluence aligning with that direction. So here on Monday, we can see there was a setup here during the second trading window. It was a beautiful setup, absolutely textbook setup, and I believe it's from the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, 15-minute time frame with a 15-minute buy signal. Okay, here during the first trading window, which covers a little bit of London session, kind of like the pre-London London session, we did get some buy signals. There was a potential for an entry right here after the bullish liquidity sweep, after retesting key levels. Again, all these levels provided by the DTG indicator, and you will learn how to plot these levels yourself anyway, so don't worry if you're confused. And then a 15-minute buy signal right here, which would have returned a 1 to 2 for, I don't know, 130 pips. But for me, there wasn't enough confluence in here with price pulling back. I wanted to see price come back down into this level. But during the second trading window, we get the beautiful setup, right? Don't pay attention to this sell signal. We're not looking at sells. It didn't get triggered anyway. It was invalid. But the bias going into this session today was buys. And then we wait for the confluence to build. And what happened here is as the second trading window opened, we created beautiful bottom wicks of the 4-hour candle. So this is wick formation. Then we retraced into this level. So that's candle formation, wick retracement, candle formation. We then broke and retested this break of structure level. You can see break of structure right here. This was this level over to the left-hand side. If I mark that out, you can see a little bit more clear right there. Break and retest once, twice, 3 times. And on the third time here, which is where we're actually looking for trades during this trading window, we wick into this level as well right here, which is our retracement level. Literally 2 wicks down into that level right here. Boom, 1, 2. And then from there, we start to move back to the upside. Also, bullish liquidity, inside bar bullish liquidity. So many different bullish confluence, points of bullish confluence here for this buy signal. And then for the entry, we get the 15-minute buy signal from the DTG indicator. If you entered here, you would have seen a bit of profit, then sat through a little bit of drawdown. Price come back to retest our retracement level right here. Beautiful. Then it started moving up. So if you didn't get this entry or you got out of break even on this entry, you could have taken the second entry, which was right here, which again would have returned you a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio for 80, 90 pips. This one would have returned you a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio for sorry guys, something in my throat. 150 pips. And this 50-minute buy signal is invalid, but this was the entry down here. This is where you want to get in the market, right? Once all those confluence have been built, okay? So that was the setup on Monday. And like I said to my members, if you have caught a setup like this at the start of the week on Monday, if you're risking 1% here, you've made 2%. If you're risking 2%, you've made 4%, right? That is 4% account gain in 1 week, in 1 day. That is incredible. If you know that this is the case and you've made this gain, this 2 or 4% gain, and you're looking ahead and you're going, oh, okay, we got CPI, we got PPI, we got more news here on Friday. Like, you know what? I'm going to take this 4% account gain right here, this nice little move, and I'm going to call it a week. You know what I'm saying? Not many people will be making 4% account gain in a year, let alone in 1 day, in 1 week, right? So take the win, take the W, call it a week, go and enjoy yourself, touch some grass, spend some time with the fam, do what you got to do, knowing that it's potentially going to be very choppy here with CPI and PPI, right? Even if you wanted to skip Wednesday and Thursday and trade Friday, whatever, right? But with that being said, the DTG indicator, the system will always provide you setups. It doesn't care about news, right? It will continue to provide the setups as long as they align with the system. And right here on Tuesday, we get another setup. This is a 30-minute break and tap entry now, right? There is 3 different strategies within the DTG system. There is the signals, which is one strategy or one entry model. There is the break and tap, which is another entry model. And there is the IBO, which is another entry model. So there's 3 entry models that the DTG indicator provides within the DTG system for you to look for different entries, again, as long as everything is aligning. And here on Tuesday, you can see the market opens up right here. We instantly flood down into our retracement level. And again, don't worry if you're not understanding any of these levels or what I'm talking about. You will learn it within the DTG Academy. There is a full course breaking everything down. You will understand it completely. So don't worry about that. I'm just showing you how the system works and how it can benefit you, right? So instantly here on Monday, we flood down into the retracement level. We also grab liquidity here over to the left. This is TLS, right? You're going to learn about TLS, FLS, DLS. You're going to learn about all these concepts. Don't worry about it. But we grab bullish liquidity in the market right here. And once we grab that bullish liquidity and retrace into this level, look what happens. Price absolutely flies to the upside here. We've built direction at this point. We have, bullish liquidity grabs here, bullish liquidity grabs here. Price is trending to the upside. Weekly was bullish, daily was bullish, 4 hours bullish. Lots of bullish confluence with direction with a 30-minute break and tap, right? If I just delete this for a second, if you can see this level, this is plotted by the DTG indicator automatically. You don't have to worry about this. You will learn how to plot this yourself if that's what you want to do. But here, the indicator plots this level. And this entry model, this is the break and tap entry model. If I bring up the Discord right here and I go to the profit section, you're going to see people talking about, BNT, right? Break and tap. This is one of the entry models, okay? BNT, break and tap. Here is the other entry model. This is a signal. That's your other entry model. And IBO. That is the other entry model. So those are the 3 entry models, right? Asia, IBOs, and a 15-minute signal for confluence. So they're building confluence through multiple entry models, okay? Right here, V5 buy. This is the buy signal. What else? We got BNT. We code these Fib Strat signal. So all different entry models being taken here, right? Rejection of AOI. That's another one. FLS. There we go. 4-hour liquidity sweeps. Signals. So you're seeing all different entry models right here. And this is the 30-minute break and tap entry model, aligning with bullish direction, aligning with bullish confluence, with liquidity, bullish liquidity, bullish retracements, bullish entry models right here. And this would have returned you 138, 140 pips, 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. Or if you would have held this trade, in total, it drives up 350 pips, right? 1 to 5 risk reward ratio. And if you didn't get that entry, you would have got another entry over here. This is also a 30-minute break and tap of this AOI level. These levels right here are called AOI levels, areas of interest. So this is another AOI level. Here's your 30-minute break. Here's your tap. And there's your entry right there. There's your entry. And again, price returns a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio, 1 to 3 risk reward ratio, 120 or so pips, right, in total. So multiple entries that day on Tuesday. And here's where it gets a little bit tricky, right? Because now we have entered CPI right here. And I highly recommend not trading CPI, right? I highly recommend it. But if you have that kind of risk appetite, the DTG system is going to provide setups, which it does. And I'm going to show you right now. So going into Wednesday with CPI, we had, again, bullish direction, and we built bullish confluence here with wick formation, candle retracement. Right here, you can see the zones, right? Here are our retracement zones. Beautiful tap, move up with bullish direction, with bullish direction, and with a signal entry model, right? So this entry model right here returns you, this entry returns you 1 to 1, 55 pips profit. Then comes down, you get out a break even there, right? But that's a potential entry into the market. So you're finding direction with structure, with momentum, with candle closures, with higher time frame direction. Then you're building confluence with wick formation, candle retracement, break and retest. Then an entry model with a 50-minute buy signal. Then what happens? We sell off even further. We grab bullish liquidity here. We grab bullish liquidity here. FLS. You saw, members talking about FLS right here in the Discord. So here's FLS, multiple grabs of FLS right here. Also retracement into our zone right here. This is our zone right here, higher time frame zone. Retracement into here, wick formation, bullish liquidity being grabbed. Price comes up here, and we get a 15-minute buy signal right here. As you can see, buy signal is your entry model. Buy signal. Price drives up there 178 pips, right? Literally during CPI. So the DTG system, the DTG indicator told you exactly where gold was going for CPI, like exactly where it was going, right? Then using DLS, this is the other concept I was telling you about. DLS. This is bearish liquidity potentially being triggered into the market, and as you can see, once we tap this level, price starts to sell off. Bearish liquidity. If you want to learn these concepts, come and join us in the DTG Academy. You will learn all about these liquidity concepts, these liquidity areas. Bullish liquidity here, and what happens? Price flies to the upside. Bearish liquidity here, price sells off. Right? If you want to learn these liquidity concepts, come and join us in the DTG Academy. Then what happens once we grab that bearish liquidity and sell off? We then have bearish retracement levels, which we tap into right here. We get a sell signal. This was potentially a break even or a loss. So I'm going to show you, right? Not every trade is going to be a winning trade. There is going to be losses. But with the DTG system trade management system, you should have gotten out a break even over here. Okay, using either DDM1, DDM2, or DDV. These are our trade management techniques for when you're in drawdown. Drawdown model 1, drawdown model 2, drawdown variation. Lots of different drawdown trade management techniques, so you can learn not only how to get a winning trade, but how to manage a losing trade efficiently and effectively. So potential for a break even here or a losing trade, and then we get another. Then we get a beautiful 1 to 2 risk reward ratio right here. Trade again. Bearish liquidity being grabbed, bearish structure, retracement, wick formation, and then sell signal, your entry model. Price coming down here, 1 to 2 risk reward ratio, 132 pips. Sorry, guys, something in my throat, man. And then last but not least here, coming into, oh wait, no, this is Thursday, PPI. Okay, now we've got PPI. Again, confluence, direction, confluence. We have wick formation, candle retracement. We then get a V5 by signal. So that's your entry model. And again, using the DTG Academy trade management techniques, DDM1, DDM2. Again, you're going to learn about these. Don't worry about it. You would have got out of break even right here because you're in a buy position. You're getting bearish closures. You're creating bearish market structure from these candles. You get multiple chances to get out of break even with these wicks. Get out of break even, especially during PPI days, CPI days, right? You get another buy signal here, but this is an invalid signal. It doesn't break the highs. So invalid buy signal. Then you get the sell off, the 15-minute sell signal. Look at that sell off right there. I mean, this doesn't align with any kind of bearish confluence or direction, but what a signal, right? Beautiful. We then create that daily bottom wick. We fill the daily gap. We grab bullish liquidity from here, as you can see to the left. Grab this bullish liquidity all the way down, retrace into the daily retracement level. Pretty much, we miss it by a few pips, but then we start driving back to the upside. We're getting break above key AOI levels, above the daily opening gap. Retesting, break above another AOI level, and this is where again the 30-minute break and tap entry comes into play. Right, this is your break and tap entry with a 30-minute buy signal as confluence. And here we can see, here is our area of interest, our break and tap entry model. Here is your break, so a close above. Here is your tap, a retest. And then once you start breaking those highs, you enter that trade. This gives you a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio for 185 pips. Or if you would have held that trade, I mean, look at the potential for this move over here. 800 over 800 pips total from that entry profit, right? Just showing you the different options available. And then coming into Friday, again, potential for a losing trade here. For the first setup, we have bullish direction, we have bullish confluence, wick formation, candle retracement. We then get a 15-minute buy signal and price just instantly sells off. So losing trade right there, that's fine. No strategy is 100% bulletproof win rate percentage, right? You're gonna have wins, you're gonna have losses. It's about how you about how you manage them and about how you keep your head in the game to take some to keep focused and move on to the next setup, right? As long as you're not making mistakes and you're following the system, a losing trade is a losing trade, right? But if you're not following the system, you're making mistakes, you're taking silly entries, and you have losing trades, then that becomes a problem, and that's where you should be worried. But then what happens is we come down, we grab bullish liquidity here, we grab bullish liquidity here, we retrace into this 12-hour daily retracement level. Literally just one tap is all that needed, right? One little tap. Look at that. One little wick there. Beautiful. This is how powerful this system is and these levels are. So yeah, bullish liquidity, retracement, candle formation. And then what happens is we get a 30-minute buy signal right here. And price drives up there again, 1 to 2 risk reward ratio, 117, 120 pips, or in total there, 1 to 4 risk reward ratio, 230 something pips. So again, guys, that was last week with the system. Potential there for some incredible setups, right? You're talking, if you're risking 1%, you've made 2% here, 4%, 6%, break even, maybe a losing trade, so that's minus 1%, so that's 5%, 6, 7%, 6%, 8%, 7%, 9%. If you're risking 1%, that's 9% for the week right there after all these winning and losing trades. If you're risking 2%, this is 4%, 8%, 12%, break even, minus 2, so that would be 10%, 14%, 12%, 16%, 14%, 18%. If you're risking 2%, that's 18% gain on the week using the DTG system. It's incredible, right? Incredible gains here just using the system. That's it. The DTG system, if you want to get access to it, come join us. Learn all the ins and outs. We got a 65 lesson course at the moment, and it's going to continue to improve and get bigger with more updates and more improvements. But this is the power of using a system that works, a bulletproof system that has been battle tested for many, many years now, that works if you follow it with discipline, with consistency. You trust it, you wait for the right setups, you build confluence, you build direction, you enter, you manage the trade, and you journal, and you do everything that I'm showing you that this system provides. You can come and implement this, plug this system in yourself, and start reaping the rewards, benefiting off these trades. So that is it. That is the DTG system last week. Let's see what this week brings. Very interesting week, potentially, with everything that's happened. We got the ongoing war with Iran and Israel and how things are going to develop over the weekend. We could potentially have quite a big Monday morning Asian Open. So if you want to get prepared for Asian session on Monday, if you want to get prepared for Monday and everything that's going to happen as these markets open with everything that's happened last week and Iran-Israel war, and you want to start benefiting off of this, come on, plug in this system, do the course over the weekend. You got Sunday, Monday to complete the course, understand the system, implement it, plug it in, and start benefiting off it and trade with us next week. Let's go, and I'll see you guys in the next video.